So you can't be in a sort of a maudlin pool of self-despair when people are trying to pull out in front of you. I feel people are kind of losing touch with reality a little bit. You kind of see that in the States with Trump and everything that's going on with him. You know, the guy's a massive douchebag. People still voted for him. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Saturday afternoon here in Sheffield. Out for a shift. I've currently got Uber Eats, Deliveroo and Hungry Panda on. Hungry Panda was the company I made my last video about, and since then I can't say it's been a particularly profitable service to use. I've been out maybe 3 or 4 times since the last time I recorded, and every time I've put Hungry Panda on, and I don't think I've had an order since. So certainly the experience I had with them were fairly decent. The pay seemed pretty good, but there just doesn't seem to be enough people using the service to sort of justify it, really. In the last few videos I've talked about my somewhat precarious position in my job at the University of Sheffield, and it does seem like they are going to be, at least to begin with, offering voluntary severance for at least some people at the university, and I suspect I'll be included within that, because my part of the university has seen quite a reduction in sort of students and activity. I'm doing right. Okay, we're getting something in from Bagels. I don't know if I want to do 2 deliveries though, that's the only thing. I'm not getting anything else. Okay, I'm going to take this Bagels order. I don't really like doing 2 orders in a row. It's okay if it's from the same place, but alright, let's get off to this first Bagels place and pick up the delivery. Not sure whether both the deliveries are from here or whether the first one's from here and the second one from somewhere else. Uber Eats are somewhat ambiguous in letting you know that. Man, those are some small balloons. Wonder what they're celebrating. Looks a bit like that celebration in The Office with Dwight and Jim. Hi there. Got 2 orders to pick up, Madeline and Daisy. Thank you so much. Alright, let's get off to this first order. So I've got 2 orders from the same place, which is always better than 2 orders from 2 different places. Never know how long the wait in the second one's going to be, or even the first one, which can really slow it all down. So yeah, I was saying about our university and offering severance. It's been quite prominent, and certainly in the local news, about the university's cash deficit at the moment and their plan to try to reduce that with various ways and means. And one of them is to offer voluntary severance and see how many people take it. I suppose that always the gamble with that is, you know, do you take it or not? And then obviously if they don't make enough savings from the voluntary severance, then you might potentially then have to go to redundancy anyhow and get less money. Hi there, is it Madeline, yeah?
Yes.
Excellent, let me just find yours. There we go. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Alright, let's go off to the second one. Again, not far. Just under a mile, so yeah, not too bad actually for just over £5. Probably a couple of miles. Seems to be getting a hell of a lot of orders through from Deliveroo at the moment, but I can't really take them until I've finished this one off. Sorry, I didn't know if it was the back door or the front door. How are you? There you go. Have a great one. Bye-bye. Alright, let's head back into Sheffield now and see what picks up. Hopefully we're going to get some stuff from delivery. They were pinging on my phone all the way through that delivery. And then now I've got nothing. So yeah, obviously the sort of threat of redundancy hasn't put me in the jolliest of moods, but it also made me kind of think about just the general sort of air of depression, despondency I feel I get a bit in the UK these days. I mean, probably emphasised a bit more in the job that I'm currently doing, but it doesn't seem to be the happiest place in the world at the moment. Financially, people feeling the pinch a bit. I feel people are kind of losing touch with reality a little bit. You kind of see that in the States with Trump and everything that's going on with him. You know, the guy's a massive douchebag. People still voted for him. I'm sure they couldn't really articulate why, and I think this is one of the issues now with, say, with politics and governments. It's really difficult these days to know, you know, what you're actually voting for a lot of the time. I think it's the nature of the world has become so complex that it's impossible to know what policies are going to really help things, pick things up, change the economy. You know, I remember watching some of these sort of, you know, commentators and debates around the American election, and they're saying, well, there's, you know, the Republicans have got these policies and the Democrats got these policies, but you know, the average person is struggling to get their brains around these concepts and how they do or don't personally affect them, or how they do or don't affect the economy. And I think people just end up voting very much on other issues because it's easier and more concrete, even though those issues may be trivial. And you know, and I think the Republicans are really emphasizing a lot of this kind of anti-woke stuff and anti-trans stuff and all that, which is a minuscule part of life in the world, but they knew that kind of appealed to the people who might vote for them, and building up this kind of scary spectra, I think, helped convert a lot of people across to them, which is, you know, it's clever marketing, but nothing really based in reality. And I think vice versa, people tend to vote for the Democrats very much based on a set of sort of broad ethical principles about fairness and equality and things like that. But again, whether the democratic policies are actually going to have any impact on any of those things, it's really difficult to tell. Best analogy I can come up with is it's similar to that series on Netflix, I think it's The Good Place, where they found out no one was getting into sort of the good place or heaven just because life on Earth had become so complicated and complex that there's no way that you could do anything that would ultimately have a positive effect, and that whatever you do, the net effect would be negative. And it kind of feels a bit that way with voting these days. You've got no idea what effect your vote will have in terms of the companies, in terms of the policies that are going to be enacted because of it. So yeah, it seems like at times people have given up on the whole sort of democratic enterprise, which is sad, but also, you know, given the sort of nature of the world now and how fractured it is and complicated, and you know how news and information has become so dispersed across all these different kind of platforms, and you know the algorithm that you're served up just kind of serves up the same viewpoints that you were tended to agree with anyhow. I don't know, it's become very difficult to get the idea of sort of one canonical source of information which everyone accesses. And so people have just formed these kind of bubbles of beliefs and, you know, ethics, which just kind of fueled by more information from different social media platforms, whether that's Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or whatever you use. And then it just amplifies some of these topics to the point where you think that they're massively important when they're not. I'm not sure what I'm talking about. I think I'm just a bit grumpy at the moment. Just a bit down on the world. I'm generally a positive person, but you know, sometimes it can be a bit annoying. Okay, let's come up here and grab this. Alright, mate. Hello. Have you got Camille B? Camille, yeah, it should be about a minute or so on the chip. No problem. Perfect. Right, David, here we go. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Cheers. Alright, let's get off this order. It's quite a long one actually, it's a bit longer than I thought, but that's okay, it's about 3 miles. So yeah, I can't say I'm in the sort of jolliest of moods at the moment, but to be honest with you, this job does help kind of clear the cobwebs a bit. Stops me from thinking too much about it and too much about the future. Kind of helps me do something very practical. Got to really focus when you're out on the bike, especially when it's cold like this and weather's bad. So, naughty naughty. So you can't be in a sort of a maudlin pool of self-despair when people are trying to pull out in front of you. And you know what? People are pretty nice when you're out on this job as well. You genuinely believe that most people are essentially decent folk. I think there are very few people out there in the world who are genuinely kind of malicious. You know, I know a lot of these words like toxic and narcissist and all these words are thrown around about people, but I'm not convinced. I know there are unpleasant people out there, but I think there is still the capacity for redemption, not in a sort of religious sense, but I think, you know, people can make mistakes, do dumb things, but learn from them and change and get better. At least I kind of hope so. I think it's really easy sometimes to ascribe sort of malice to people and say, you know, they deliberately intended to be unpleasant, when a lot of the time it's just thoughtlessness or forgetfulness or not really paying attention. And so I always try to assume that that's the reason why someone's done something rather than a genuine desire to hurt. I know it sometimes happens, but like I said, I'm not convinced that it's most of the time. Jesus, this escalated a bit, wasn't it? I was, you know, supposed to be out here just, you know, doing jolly deliveries, and I'm reflecting on the nature of the human condition. Not sure that's my job, really. Hi there, here you go. Cheers, have a great day. Bye. You know, that lady was a great example. Super friendly, super nice. And certainly kind of in America, the sort of Trump versus Harris voters, there's been quite a split, and, you know, families and husbands and wives and God knows what else sort of splitting up because of ideological differences. Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Whether you can be friends with people who are ideologically very, very different from yourself, I suppose it's what those ideological differences are exactly, you know, if they're just more sort of economic, or but then if it comes down to certain key sort of ethical agendas around race or gender or immigrants and these kinds of things, then it gets a bit trickier. Again, I always feel you can, you know, bridge that gap. You know, I've always been definitely more left leaning in my politics. I've always voted Labour here in the UK. I believe in safety nets, I believe in governmental support, I believe in, you know, the rights of immigrants. But at the same time, I do have people I know who skew certainly to the right, both sort of members of my family and friends that I know, and you know, I think most of the time it doesn't really impact you in day-to-day life and the kinds of things you discuss and talk about, you know. And if you do find areas where there's obvious disagreements, you probably try to steer clear of that. I think if their beliefs are very clearly manifest in their behaviour and how they treat people, then that's where you have to kind of draw the line on a friendship level. But I have often found that people who do say they hold sort of, you know, more right-wing beliefs, sometimes in reality how they actually act is not so, doesn't seem to support the idea that they do actually believe those things. Alright, I'm going to wait around a bit. Nothing coming in at the moment, see if anything comes through. I'll reconnect when it does. Well, I've been waiting around for about 20-25 minutes and got absolutely nothing. I don't know if it's just a quiet day, a quiet afternoon or something, or as I suggested earlier, maybe there's more delivery drivers out there these days. Oop. Let's accept that one. Okay, just got an offer in from Subway. Just going to pop and do that one. It's maybe the last one, depending. Doesn't seem that busy out today. How's it going, mate? Busy today? No. Nothing. Very quiet, very quiet. That's it, yeah. Thank you so much. Cheers, see ya. Alright, let's get off to this one. I might call this one the last. We'll see if we get any more. Hi there, here you go.
So much. It's 54.
54, thank you so much, bye bye.